Hello and welcome to Banjo-Kazooie, played via Nintendo Switch Online. And it is illegal to skip this opening, so we're watching it. This was one of my favorite N64 games. Still love it to this day. Its soundtrack is one of the all-time greats. Hey, Wolven Elf. It is indeed a good game, Wolven Elf. I never get tired of it. It's fantastic. I adore this game. I already used the Game Boy file, but then again, it's not very far in. I can delete that. Because the file where Banjo is playing a Game Boy is widely known to be the best of them. Yeah, this is... I got a bunch of games for the N64 when I was a kid. I sold most of them. Several of them I sold because I was of the opinion like, hey, I've played this game to death. I'll never want to play it again. I've beaten it like 7 times, etc. I never sold Banjo-Kazooie. I love this game. Looks do stand her out from the crowd. Okay, now that that's over, I've got a few things to say. I will be letting the characters do their own voice work. I know they don't speak with actual words, but they do speak, and it would be a shame to speak over them. And yeah, playing this, as it shows in the top left, with the N64 controller via NSO. So we have the original control scheme here. And yeah. And yeah, Woven Elf, on the subject of selling games, like, one game that I sold for the N64 that I regretted, DK64. And ever since then, I have not sold any games that I enjoyed and did not have other access to. So, I already know how to use all these moves, but having Bottles teach them to us gets us some fun additional dialogue. Yeah, like these days I only sell a game if, say, I have another version of it on another system. Because otherwise, well, you might end up regretting having sold something. Kazooie is very abusive. So, I have just remembered something about this game. It was a very early 3D platformer. Like, N64, that's where 3D platforming really started to hit its stride. And the camera buttons. So, the camera buttons were used to control the camera and not your view, because that was the style at the time. So, let's say I wanted to look left. I have to hit C right to send the camera to the right so that it will pan to the left. It's inverted. So C left pans the camera right because the camera itself is moving left when you hit C left. And the camera itself is moving right when you hit C right. So yeah. Early days of 3D gaming in general. And thus, some conventions that are standard these days simply weren't a thing back then. Get out easy. I love that every single thing you can pick up in this game talks to you the first time you get one. And they all have their own little fun voices. Even if all they say is meep, 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 meep. Also, I intend to collect all of the things in this run. Because that's what this game is all about, and doing anything less feels like a disservice to Banjo-Kazooie. I find it interesting that she called bottles jam jars there, and in Banjo-Tooie, the mole that we learn things from is in fact named jam jars. Also known as the worst attack in the game. There's basically no reason to ever use the claw swipe attack. Its reach is pathetic, You have to be going real slow to use it. It's... You don't use it. That move doesn't have to be in the game. Like, the roll, you're much safer using it. And it's got longer reach, though you do need to be a bit accurate. And the move we're learning here is the best attacking move, just flat out. And now to move on from Spiral Mountain with its very fun music, we shall go to Gruntilda's Lair, which also has incredibly catchy music. Seriously, the music in this game is legendary for a reason. Grant Kirkhope did a fantastic job on it. There are many Jiggies, but only that one is Mr. Jiggy. Say hi to WizPig if you're familiar with Diddy Kong Racing. There he is, right there on the wall. Another thing I love about this game is the dynamic soundtrack. The instrumentation of the theme for whatever world you're in changes based on what general location in the world is, or the world you're in. Like, we're near Mumbo's Mountain, so it changed to Mumbo's Mountain style instrumentation, but it's still the Grunty's Lair theme here. I love that about this game. Renty, you gotta start talking before I'm about to hit a load zone. Eekum bokum.
Eekum bokum.
I find it interesting that they put a literally immortal enemy in the very first world. That hole. Best you can do is stun it. Oh, I'm touching Conga's blocks. Seriously, I love that every single thing you can pick up talks to you the first time you get one. Everything. Hey, Drag Grape. The aim can be a little squirrely. Once again, this game was very early in terms of 3D platforming and all that, so it and also in terms of analog control. So some things that we would think today, like, oh, I want to change my aim to go to the right a little, we would press right on the control stick, but it'll just make us go straight to the right or straight to the left. We want to do some fine aim adjustments. We gotta do some very fine control stick movements around the outer, well, I guess the octagon gate that is on the controller. Because Banjo will point precisely where on that gate you are holding the control stick, which, I mean, yeah, I can see why that would be the first instinct of a game developer back then. These days, we tend to do more, well, we tend to have different things going on. More indirect control, I guess. I hope you get used to the sound of the Talon Trot, because we are going to be hearing it a lot. Something that I'm going to have to get used to all over again with this N64 controller, which is the shape of the thing. Like, it's fine. It's a very usable controller. But my hands are bigger than they used to be, which means it's more comfortable for me to hold it at a slight angle. And because of that slight angle, up on the control stick is not straight up from where my thumb is positioned. Like, if I was to push the control stick straight up relative to my body rather than relative to the controller, this is where it goes. A little to the left. Which is absolutely going to cause a few problems over the course of this game for me. I will have to readjust my aim on certain things. I will probably walk right past a few things and need to double back. Simply because this controller is the shape that it is, and my hands are bigger than they once were. Last time I held an N64 controller for any real amount of time was probably back in 2000, maybe 2001. So, you know, a good 21 years ago. I was in elementary school. Well, actually, junior high probably, because junior high is when, or where I was when the GameCube came out. This is easily missed. Yes, I see that Jiggy over there, but we are going elsewhere first. We need to visit Mumbo a little later, unless we want to come back and revisit him multiple times. If I was smart, I would have come up to the Mumbo area first, then gone down, and then come back up only the once. I was not smart. Was not thinking. We need the ground pound move over here to activate the witch switch. But we need the egg firing move up at Mumbo's place to do the totem pole thing. And you find both of those moves in the opposite locations. You learn to shoot eggs down here and need to take it up there, and you learn to ground pound things up there and need to take it down here. So no matter what, there's a little bit of backtracking in this world, but the amount of backtracking you have to do can still be reduced through clever routing. Also, dang it, I missed. I wish I could let go of Z once I had started a Talon Trot, but unfortunately you gotta keep it pressed the whole time you want to stay Talon Trotting. Okay, so right about here. There we go. And now to go meet Mumbo, whose mountain this apparently is. Always check behind Mumbo's hut. Sometimes there's stuff back there. I wonder if we will get to see the very rare transformation. There's a 1% chance that instead of getting transformed into whatever you're supposed to on each stage, he will instead transform you into a washing machine. And then be like, oops, I messed up, and then transform you back. We may end up seeing it, we may not. It's rare. It's more likely that we won't see it, though. Sorry, Termite, you can't have our shorts. You also cannot have our backpack. Now, get off these notes. I need them. It's the last 3. Get off them. Specifically Banjo-Kazooie 1, this game. It's something rather unpleasant with notes. Unpleasant, but it adds a little bit of challenge. Like, I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. They made it so that if you leave the world, it records your note record, and then respawns all the notes and sets your counter back to 0 when you go back into that world. So unless you get them all in one go, well, you gotta get them again. And thus, I shall always endeavor to do my best. Oh, also if you die, they get reset. So yeah, you gotta do them in one go without dying or leaving. So yeah, I'll always endeavor to get all 100 notes, which requires me to not get myself killed. And that is a feature that they removed in Banjo-Tooie. Though in Banjo-Tooie, I feel like they overcorrected. Because in Tooie, instead of finding single notes, you find them in stacks of 5 with 1 stack of 20 in each world. And you also get to keep them forever once you grab them. I feel like they only needed to do one of those things. Either make it so that you don't need so many, or make it so that you keep them forever. Doing both just kind of made it less of a thing. And let's just confirm we did in fact get everything in Mumbo's Mountain. Yep, in 17 minutes flat. Also, this game has one of the best pause themes of any game ever made. Like, it just perfectly encapsulates that this is a pause menu feeling. Also, you can really tell the upscaling that they did when putting this game on the NSO. Because the 2D assets, like the Mumbo token there, are still fairly low res. Like, there's been some filtering done to at least make the jaggies less harsh, but they're still very visible. But then the jiggy right above it is clearly a much higher resolution. Upscaling is a thing. 3D assets are rendered at a higher resolution than the 2D assets because that's just how it goes. Okay, it's time to take notes. Indeed, Brentilda is telling the truth. These secrets can help us avoid a fiery fate, and that's why we must take notes. Disgusting. She washes her hair with baked beans. Alright, so that's the 3 secrets we got here. She brushes her teeth with salted slug toothpaste, washes her hair with baked beans, and gets her clothes from Saggy Maggie's boutique. New to Banjo-Kazooie, are you, Drake? Right? It is one of my favorites. I adore this game. Its sequel is also good. I don't like it as much. It's more bloated. Banjo-Kazooie, everything it does well. Like, there's still lots of room for improvement, of course, but it's a phenomenal first 3D collectathon game from Rareware. And some of the lessons that its sequel learned, it didn't do quite well on, and other things it tried new were all right, but not ideal. Like, I feel Tooie made more missteps than Kazooie. It's still a very good game. And scale-wise, it's way bigger than Banjo-Kazooie. But it doesn't have the focus. I don't believe we need to go in here just yet, but... Okay, yeah, this is for later. Later, Wolven Elf. Thanks for dropping by. There's no reason to come up here just yet. And now it is time to meet something that literally terrified me when I first played this game. Excuse you. Snacker the Shark. Just the fact that the music changes to Snacker's theme, and he's just after you, trying to eat you every single time you go in the water. It was terrifying. To my younger self. If only Kazooie was more polite, we wouldn't have to fight Nipper. You really have to wonder where Nipper went. Pulled himself into his shell, but he is gone, replaced by 2 little crabs. So, he said press A. When I was a kid, I always thought, okay, I'll press A. Hey, that's not a big jump. It took me a while to learn you gotta hold A. It was a whole thing. The answer to the puzzle is written on the wall here. And also on the game's package and just a variety of places. There are a variety of times in this game where you have to spell out Banjo-Kazooie. And incidentally, once we've done this, if we come back in here, we can actually put in cheat codes. Not that I'm going to, that's cheating. But they exist, and I remember them. Because unlike most games of this era, and most eras, in fact, it's cheat codes, instead of just being, like, random strings of letters or whatever, are actual phrases. It's very easy to remember the phrases. Like, if you want infinite air, the cheat code you must enter is, give the bear lots of air. Actually, I think that's the only one that I remember. But still. It's also the most useful one. Oh, not necessarily. You can get infinite eggs and infinite feathers. And infinite feathers is quite useful. But still, infinite air is the one most likely to keep you alive. Because there's no infinite health cheat. There is an infinite lives cheat. But no infinite health. Oops. I might as well go learn to fly. That'll help me get... Well, not necessarily. It'll change how I get up there sometimes. I just remembered that holding R underwater allows you to turn much more sharply, and there is no point in the game at which they tell you this. It's just a thing you can do. I always never come to this area from this direction. It's usually always going the other way. But I guess I'm doing things a little differently this time. Dang it. It's twice I've fallen off that very ledge. Something I also learned later is you don't have to stay on the pad to do the shock jump. All that matters is that you start your jump from the pad and don't miss. Can I use this tree to get up? Yeah, it looks like this will work just fine. I just remembered something. There's codes that you can do to make things appear in this game that were originally going to be used in the sequel before they learned that while the N64 can keep game data in memory for a little bit if you remove the cartridge, that little bit is not nearly long enough to accomplish what they wanted. Like, you would have to be able to rip this cartridge out and put in the sequel's cartridge within, I think it was like 4 seconds. And that's just not something that they could ask players to do. But those features are still in this game, and thus it is still things to collect. So, that island over there, Shark Food Island, has a secret. And, wow, you need to put in a fairly long code to get it. So, first, we have to put in the word cheat. And apparently it's gonna moo at us. And then... out. Of. The. Thankfully, we are allowed to reuse the same letter tiles. C. It. Rises. To reveal more secret prizes. Out of the sea it rises to reveal more secret prizes. And what do you know? It has risen out of the sea. I've never actually entered that code before. Hey, Outlander. Now that I have the window in which the code was hiding put away, I can see that you have shown up. Yeah, considering the extraordinary length of the code we had to enter, and the fact that they didn't publish it anywhere. Yeah, most players of this game only ever got to see this area in a post-credits Easter egg for having gotten every Jiggy, where Mumbo showed off things from the sequel. Except it's actually from this game. It just has some value in the sequel, and would have had more value had they made the games able to actually connect. Yeah, we'll find a use for this somewhere. In another game. It's completely worthless in this game. But it can be gotten and therefore it must be gotten. Drake Raid, I suppose you could say that it is in fact a literal Easter egg. And there's more of them, and they all require codes to be entered there, and they are all excessively long. Oh, we're looking for gold. Now, let's see. There's a total of 8 of those excessively long cheats that actually unlock things that were meant to be useful in the sequel. Like, now you can see a nice ice key which you can have for free. And a desert door opens wide, ancient secrets wait inside. And don't you go and tell her about the secret in her cellar. And amidst the haunted gloom, a secret in the bathroom. And this secret you'll be grabbing in the captain's cabin. And now Banjo will be able to see it on Nabnut's table. That one doesn't even rhyme. Most of the others rhyme. Actually, I guess able and table. Yes, I will never find you now. Where could you be, treasure chest? Could you be under the giant X that was visible from where we were standing? I did not open him gently. Oh, neat. There's also cheats that open up the worlds before you get the jiggies and go to their portraits and stuff. I did not know that. There's cheats that I never learned about. And they all have fun things to enter in order to enable them. So, the cheats that I once had memorized for getting infinite lives, feathers, etc. We've got Banjo begs for plenty of eggs. For infinite eggs. Surprise. Now you can fly high in the sky for infinite red feathers, which let you do exactly that. A golden glow to protect Banjo for gold feathers, which are used for the invulnerable move. Give the bear lots of air for infinite air. Lots of goes with many Banjos for infinite lives. Don't be a Dumbo, go see Mumbo to get 99 Mumbo tokens. An energy bar to get you far will give you the maximum amount of honeycomb energy. Oh, apparently the world opening cheats, they got a little cheeky with those, and if you enter more than 2 at a time, they erase your save. In fact, they erase every save that you have in the game for being a dirty cheater. So, the cheats for progression include there's nowhere danker than with Clanker to open Clanker's Cavern. Now into the swamp you can stomp to open Bubble Gloop Swamp. This comes in handy to open Somewhere Sandy, to open Gobi's Valley. Now you can go and trudge in the snow to open Freeze Easy Peak. The Mansion of Ghosts are now your hosts to open Mad Monster Mansion. Why not take a trip inside Grunty's rusty ship to open Rusty Bucket Bay? This one's good as you can enter the wood to open Click Clock Wood. And then the various note doors that require various amounts of notes to open can also be opened with cheats. Go right on through Note Door 2 opens the second one. Note Door 3 get in for free for the third. They're all the number. Take a tour through Note Door 4. Use this cheat, Note Door 5 is beat. These are fun. This trick's used to open Note Door 6. And the 7th Note Door is now no more. So those were probably put in for game testing purposes and then left in for funsies. Wow, there's even more. There's cheats to open up certain passages in Gruntilda's lair. Like, you'll cease to gripe when up goes a pipe, which raises pipes that you need to get somewhere. Both pipes are there to Clanker's lair. Whoops. You'll be amazed now the Swamp Picky Grill is raised. Up you go without a hitch, up to the water level switch. Wait, did I just see a note that I missed? No, I didn't. Thought I did. They cause trouble, but now they're rubble. Removes all breakable walls. You won't have to wait, now there's no crypt gate. Don't despair, the tree jiggy podium is now there. The grill goes boom to the ship picture room. She's an ugly bat, so let's remove her grill and hat. Grunty will cry now you've smashed her eye. This should get rid of the crypt coffin lid. It's your lucky day as the ice ball melts away. Webs stop your play, so take them away. And then apparently there's 2 cheats that actually make you learn moves that unlock these pads, the shock jump pad and the flight pads. You'll be glad to see the shock jump pad teaches you the shock spring jump. And you won't be sad now you can use the fly pad, teaches you to fly. It's a bunch of fun little cheats with fun little rhymes. Okay, now we just need the last Jinjo, which is on one of the trees around here. Yeah, there he is. We are now free to go, as I have gotten... Actually, I think I've probably missed a Mumbo token or two, but I've gotten everything that matters here. Rude. Of course, we shouldn't expect Grunty to be anything other than rude. Also, we're going to need to come here much later in the game. We're also coming here now to talk to Brentilda. Because apparently there's nothing else here. I could have sworn there was like a Mumbo token. Hog breath. Putrid parrot puke is an interesting smell to have as your favorite. Okay, notes taken. Also, the answers to those are randomized with every single file, which is why we need to take notes and I can't just look at a list of what the correct answers are. Because they change. Thanks for telling me that when I only had one piece left to place, Bottles. So yeah, this is the one pipe that they could raise, and then the two pipes that the cheats could raise are those over there. Which... wow, so hard. Definitely need a cheat for that. Why, if we didn't have access to that cheat, how could we possibly do this? Yes, it's a good thing cheats exist, or we would never have raised those pipes with a move that we get at literally the start of the game. Well, actually in the first world, but still. Ow. What's on this pipe? Interesting. Anyway, this is the world where the infinite air cheat is probably the most useful. There's one other where it's also useful, but it actually doesn't freaking function there. Because the way it takes your air is different. Say hello to Clanker, who is... well, he just told you. But he's also a shark with a blowhole. Actually, let's go under from closer to the hole. Yeah, the music in this game is just phenomenal in general. And like, yeah, the music here, it's got a bit of that kind of peppy feeling to it. But it's also got a little darkness. Like, it's good, I like it. Yeah, they put Gloop down here so that we can survive. The only problem is, it's not easy to actually catch the bubbles. Because they're a 2D object in 3D space. Kind of wish Nintendo still owned Rareware when the 3DS was a thing. Like, if they had done a Banjo-Kazooie 3D like they did Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D, would have been significantly better, at least for the swimming parts. Also, this being a classic game for a Nintendo system, everything you have to do 3 times. But yeah, Clanker is clearly a shark. He's got a shark-like tail. He's got a shark-like mouth. He's got gills. But he's also got a blowhole. I know there's a Jinjo there. I'm just working on air first. Yeah, if they had done DK64 3D and, like, made Diddy's jetpack control not completely terribly, and made it so that any Kong could grab any banana, that game would have been phenomenal. But alas, we will never get that version of that game. DK64 is not a bad game, but it is nowhere near as good as the Banjo-Kazooie games, because they pushed it a little too far with all the things to collect. And then they made it so that you have 5 different characters who need to collect different things and cannot collect one another's stuff. Honestly, if they just took out that last bit, made it so that any Kong could grab anything, regardless of its color, that alone would make DK64 so much better of a game. This is the entrance. Well, if we must, then we shall. Dang it. Somehow that is the first Jiggy we've gotten on this stage. I think we're actually done looking in the holes on the side for now. This one has something. Right, there's one with a Jinjo. But wait, we already got the Jinjo. And it was, in fact, this one. And I need air. Oh, crap. This isn't the Jinjo. Well, we're going to drown. Goodbye, cruel world. Fun fact, the speed run for this game routes their movement so that they intentionally drown as they collect the final Jiggy, because that gets them back to the entrance faster. I gotta recollect those 37 notes, those Jinjos. I gotta recollect Jiggies and stuff, but still. I also don't have to raise Clanker again. We just gotta go down there for notes in the green Jinjo. Oops. Ow. Okay, I guess we do have to raise Clanker again. Maybe it's because I didn't grab the Jiggy from raising him. Swimming through that key, you don't really gotta do anything special. You just gotta pass through the plane that the hole creates 3 sometimes. So you can just go back and forth and it still works to turn the key in one direction. Okay, up we go. Yeah, this game came out in '97, so I was 8. And let me tell you, this game absolutely sounds like childhood to me. I played it a lot during my childhood, and yeah, it's just... I adore a lot about this game. Its music is one of the standout points. Grant Kirkhope absolutely nailed the soundtrack, as he does with basically any game he works on. Honestly, in my opinion, one of the best composers in the industry. And anything golden will provide a Jiggy. That's just one of the hard and fast rules of this game. Of course, we had no way of knowing that he had a toothache there until we shot the tooth, but... I need to go back where the muty snippets were to get their notes. Still need to get the Blue Jinjo from the underwater tunnel where it was, which I believe is this one right here. Snippets are through that green hole back there. Yeah, games being older than you absolutely does not make them bad. I mean, I guess there's a generation of people for whom it does, but anyone who is younger than Super Metroid has a game very worth playing that is older than them. Stay too late. Yeah, NES games, there are definitely some solid ones there that still hold up today. But there are certainly fewer of them than there are for the Super Nintendo. Of course, the game industry itself was very young back then. They still had a lot of learning on what goes into a good game and all of that. So, like, I get it. I get why there are so many NES games that don't really hold up. Like, the ones that do hold up, almost all of them have had better games released for the Super Nintendo because, hey, they wanted to make sequels that were better on better hardware. And they succeeded in the vast majority of cases. Like, yeah, Punch-Out's still good on the NES. I prefer it to Super Punch-Out. The original Legend of Zelda is... it's rough to play these days. Just for one reason alone. That's the absence of diagonal movement and sword strikes. Like, no diagonals makes that game feel a lot worse to play than it otherwise would. The original Super Mario Bros. Still holds up, but Super Mario World is just so much better. The original Metroid is still quite playable, but it's been completely replaced by Metroid Zero Mission. And there's just a lot of things like that where, yeah, even the games that are still playable and still decent, there's just better games in their franchise that just make them not as desirable to play. And it's no fault of their own, it's just the industry itself has moved on and gotten bigger and better. Looks like we already got the stuff down on that book. Or actually, maybe we did, maybe we didn't. It can be hard to tell. Draw distance for items in this game is very low. But yeah, it looks like we actually did get all this stuff. So, there's not much left for us outside Clanker. Yeah, once you get to Super Nintendo games, the number of games that still hold up and are phenomenal just skyrockets. Because by then, the industry had had some time to grow. Super Nintendo games can still look fantastic because, like, 16-bit is enough that they could have some good-looking games. And the art direction for a lot of games was just solid enough that, you know, you can still play those games today and it's like, dang, this is some great artwork. It's not held back by its lack of color palette or resolution anymore, like the NES is. Like, even going from Super Mario Bros. 1 to Super Mario Bros. 3, like, there's a big leap in graphical fidelity there. But it's... Oh, that can't be pleasant, having someone land on your eye. Like, there's a big leap in graphical fidelity, but even Mario Bros. 3 doesn't look perfect. In fact, in some ways, it... Like... In some ways, I prefer the look of, like, Mario Bros. 2, or even in some cases, Mario Bros. 1, over Mario Bros. 3. And, of course, I came in on the tooth that didn't have the jiggy on it. This is a slope. So yeah, I'm gonna have to come back in later to get that jiggy. Yeah, NES, even the best looking games on that system are absolutely held back by the hardware. They can't perfectly accomplish everything that they wanted to. Whereas the Super Nintendo, the hardware wasn't holding them back nearly as much. They could make games look much better and much more faithful to their artistic vision. And they'd also gotten some experience and knew how to make games more fun by then, so yeah. Super Nintendo, absolutely, a lot of Super Nintendo games still hold up. Far more than NES. I would argue also more than N64, honestly. Of course, that's just how it is when a publisher tries a new system for the first time. Like, not a new system, a new method of displaying graphics. Like, the NES was Nintendo's first stab at video games. Other than, like, Game & Watch, which hardly counts. So it stands to reason that, yeah, it's not gonna necessarily be the prettiest. And then N64 was their first jump into regularly doing 3D graphics. And it was another learning curve because there is no game franchise that made it through the jump to 3D without changing things, without losing something. It's just a matter of whether that something was something it could afford to lose. So yeah, it's going to the N64 from the Super Nintendo. They had years and years of experience making games, And they can still make some good ones. Mario 64 is fantastic, and that was the first game Nintendo put on this thing. But while they can make games and do it well, like visually, they still had a lot of growth to do. And also in terms of, you know, just figuring out how to handle a variety of different game types in 3D. They had to relearn everything for the N64, and a lot of their experiments paid off, a lot didn't. So N64 games are very hit and miss in terms of quality that remains to this date. Whereas Super Nintendo doesn't really have that issue. It's hardware where they got to use the same skills they had honed over the years with the NES. And they could make basically the same types of games they made on NES, but higher fidelity. So, the intent is for you to use gold feathers to get through this. But with correct timing, you can just go right through without taking any damage. That said, the gold feather music is a delight. And not letting you hear it at least a little bit would have been a crime. So we have 6 notes to find. And 1 jiggy. I didn't go in the blowhole, though I think that just drops us over there without giving us anything. Yeah, the GBA was great. I used my GBA a whole lot. It was actually... My GBA was the first game system that I bought for myself. So yeah, that's... It's got a special place for me. And the first game I bought for it, I hated it. F-Zero Maximum Velocity. I bought because I enjoyed F-Zero X on the N64. It plays nothing like F-Zero X on the N64. Like, there's a lot about F-Zero Maximum Velocity that just did not make sense to me. Like, how to get a boost at the start of the race was you were supposed to, like, mash A until your engine got to its maximum whatever, and then stop mashing A, and then let go, and then hold A at a certain... I don't even know or remember. All I remember is that it was confusing. And I never understood. Oh. here's where we needed to be. Okay, so yeah, it was the blowhole. You know, you'd think these blades would be going serrated edge first. Outlander, I did in fact play Majora's Mask. It is, to this date, my favorite Zelda game. Breath of the Wild's real good, but Majora's Mask takes it for me. Beats out Ocarina of Time as well. Actually, on the subject of GBA, the stream that I was going to do today was not always going to be Banjo-Kazooie. I just did this because I got the itch, but I had originally been planning to make use of the Analog Pocket that I actually just got, which can play Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games very well. I've got a dock for it so I can capture video. And if I still had my copies of certain GBA games, which technically still belong to me, but years and years ago, like we're talking 5-6 years ago, I let a friend borrow them, but I don't remember which friend it was, and none of the friends who I do remember having ever lent my Game Boy Advance to claim to have it, and thus, like, half of my Game Boy game collection is just missing. So, any of the games that I would have played here today using that are MIA. Though I actually did make a discovery. My Game Boy camera, its save battery is, by some miracle, still functional. Which means I was able to see some pictures of my last cat when she was a kitten. Okay. Getting out my notepad. Grunty wears a reinforced girdle. Excuse me. I missed that. That was leg chompy or something. It'll cycle back. We know about the reinforced girdle. We just need to see the dog name again. Leg chomp. Okay. Part of me wants to play Golden Sun and Golden Sun 2 on this channel. I certainly could. I have them on the Wii U, if nothing else. That's actually why I was so willing to lend my GBA games to that friend or that mysterious friend that I don't remember which one it was. because all the games that I let them borrow were games that I have access to on either the 3DS or Wii U eShops, be they Game Boy Color or GBA games. But now I've got something that uses the original cartridges to play those same games and displays them in a much more faithful way than the Wii U did. And it's like... And also on a much better screen than the 3DS has. So yeah, it's just a case of, well, dang, that decision I made back then thinking that if anything happened to the games I would never miss them, oops, I miss them now. Almost forgot to come back here and pound these in. I wish the music would just keep playing through these transitions instead of starting over after each one. Because it's a nice track, but when you only get to hear the witch cackle in the beginning and then it go into the same opening that you've heard a million times. Yeah, I want to hear the whole thing. See, there it actually kept going through the transition. Oh, time for more notes. Favorite sport is belly barging. St. Dungball's School. Wonder where that is. Wonder what they teach. That is not sanitary. But hey, we've learned more about Grunty. And here we are in Bubble Gloop Swamp, which has some of my favorite music in the game. Hey look, I found the new move. Dang it. The jump button wasn't working for a bit there. Good. Got all the notes. Good old nesting eggs. Back for the notes and stuff. After I've grabbed this jiggy, I know we had plenty of time left, but I don't like leaving timers on the screen more than I have to. Just adds stress. Of course, even without that added stress, I can still fail a jump. Because once again, the way I am holding this controller, up is not straight up. Up is more up and to the right, because my hands are big. And while this is one of my favorite soundtracks in the entire game, Bubble Goop Swamp, it's not my favorite. We'll get to that later. Actually, I have to think about which one's my absolute favorite. But this one's definitely high up there. Dang it. Rusty Bucket Bay is also really good. Click Clock Wood is a classic. Gobi Valley's really good. Honestly, it's basically just not Freeze Easy Peak. Almost every stage in this game has fantastic music. we're gonna do this the easy way. Considering these frogs take more than one hit to kill normally. Then pull them in, buddy. So his words tell you that he's happy to have this happen. But his scream tells you that this feels bad. And, this being Banjo-Kazooie, if there is an open mouth, we must go in it. At least if it's an open mouth that we can fit in. Hey, guard. Okay, time for memory. Red, purple, yellow. Yellow, light blue, red, light blue, pink. Pink, red, pink, light blue, red, purple, blue. And it was like, purple? No. Pink, red, pink, light blue, red, purple, blue. I knew it was either purple, red, or red, purple. There's so many stages with great music in this game. The only one that I just am not the biggest fan of is Freeze Easy Peak. I think Click Clock Wood's probably the only one that can beat Bubble Group for me. Rusty Bucket's also really up there, though. Yeah, it's very hard to say that any specific stage's music is my absolute favorite in this game, because there's a bunch that are really good. Yes, Drake, great. That tortoise did, in fact, have... the turtle had a tortoise school in its stomach, yes. Because why wouldn't it? Banjo-Kazooie is a weird game sometimes. Seriously, Guard, you never played Banjo-Kazooie? It's one of my favorites. I love this game. There we go. Sure, I could have gone closer, but that would have been fewer style points. Nice miss, me. Again, I blame the fact that the way I hold this controller up is not straight up. It's up and to the right. Because I have to hold this controller angled in order for it to be comfortable. Because my hands are bigger than the hands it was designed for. They're bigger than they were back when I actually played this game on an actual N64, dang it. I have grown, the controller has not. And therefore, I must have a slightly more difficult time. Yes, there is a Jinjo there, but we cannot get it yet. Yeah, Outlander, I'm selling the Switch version of the N64 controller. It's as accurate as you get. Like, the weight distribution is a little different if you're used to an N64 controller with a rumble pack. But beyond there, it's the controller that I remember. And it's also the controller that I still have one of in the corner of my room. Like, it is the same shell The only difference is the expansion slot where you would put the rumble pack or the memory card is filled in with plastic, and there's a rumble motor inside that feels like the rumble pack motor. Like, in terms of how it feels when it rumbles, it is very faithful to the original. But yeah, it's as close as you get without being the real thing. Which is to say, it's the real thing, but just different weight distribution. Like, the stick feels just like it should, and all of that. The only difference, or the most major difference that I experience is just my hands are bigger, so I have to hold it a little different to be comfortable. Which leads to a couple problems. Nothing major. I remember back when Star Fox 64 first came out with the Rumble Pack. My first thought was, why would I want my controller to shake? That'll just make it harder to hold, and I might drop it while playing the game. And thus, I was against the idea of having rumble feedback in games, because I just couldn't imagine it being good or useful. I was thinking, hey, this is gonna be bad. It's just gonna make it harder to hold the controller and make it easier to make mistakes. Why would I want that? Yeah, the moment I actually played Star Fox 64 for the first time, I instantly learned that it didn't vibrate nearly as hard as I thought it would. It actually made the controller's balance feel a lot more pleasant. Having that extra weight in the front of the controller just made it feel like you're holding on to something more substantial. And it was nice. Unfortunately, we don't get that sense of weight in the Switch version. Like, we've still got some of it, but it's not as heavy in the front. It's... I mean, yeah, it doesn't stick down as far. It's not as front heavy because, well, it doesn't have batteries. There is a rechargeable battery in this thing, but it's not in the same location. It doesn't weigh as much as the two AAAs that you needed to run a Rumble Pack. And yeah. And one of the worst parts about the N64 was the few games that used memory cards instead of saving straight to the cartridge. The memory card had to go into the controller. It didn't hold very much. And it went in the same slot that you would use for a Rumble Pack, which meant that you couldn't have Rumble and saves at the same time. Unless you went with a third-party thing. Over the N64's lifetime, I got a few of them. I got one third-party thing. The first one I got was a third-party Rumble Pack that had an additional slot for a memory card. Which, it was a weird shape. It changed the balance of the thing. Like, it was kind of L-shaped in that, like, it went down and then forward was the slot. So in front of the thing is where you would put the memory card. And it worked. It had a switch to swap between memory mode and rumble mode, I think. I don't quite remember, and I don't have that thing anymore. But by the end of the N64's life, I got one that was the same form factor as a standard Rumble Pack, but it was clear red plastic, and it had inside it effectively 4 N64 memory cards, and there were switches on it for memory card A or B, and 1 or 2, and every combination was its own separate memory card data space. So yeah, I had that, and that was the thing that I got last for the N64, and it was really good. I liked it a lot. Anyway, time to transform into a little gator. One of the few transformations we get that is capable of attack. We're gonna go get that Jinjo that we couldn't get before because gators are allowed to walk in piranha water. Yes, Outlander, you certainly do know this form from VTuber memes. I know the exact ones. Because I was watching her as she played this game. I saw the meme get made. There's 3 notes that I didn't get somewhere. Oh, there they are. The other nostril. I believe I should be missing 2 jiggies? Or 1 jiggy. Okay. Oh, that is interesting. When you pause, the world itself stops getting the upscaling done on it. So everything in the background right now when I'm paused is the original resolution that this game originally rendered at. But then when I unpause, it goes up to upscaling to, I believe it's 720p. So yeah, just a little bit of added clarity in this version of the game. Of course, if you were playing this on a CRT back in the day, you wouldn't have noticed. Gotta eat more red yumblies. Also, this game is pretty frequently featured in Games Done Quick marathons. And they have a delightful song that they sing, specifically during the Mr. Vile challenge here. I'm not going to sing it because I don't know the exact words well enough to do so. And also I don't want to. But it's amusing that it's there. Like, it's very clear that the people who run this game at Games Done Quick, they love it. Which, it makes sense. It's a great game. I mean, it's a part of a lot of people's childhoods. Theirs included, mine included. And they're very dedicated to it. It's great to see. Always a pleasure. Now we gotta avoid yellow grumblies because they're not ripe. Dang it, he's got a bunch all lined up for him. So, those shoes back there, if you put them on, which we can't do yet because we haven't learned how, they give you a significant speed boost for a while. There's a reason they put them here. It's because this minigame is a good deal harder without them. Still very doable without them, but harder. And the general strategy for doing it without them is just try and stay just ahead of Mr. Vile so that you can basically just deny him points while taking points yourself. Okay, we need reds. If we eat the wrong one, it'll stun us for a little bit. Changed while I wasn't paying attention. See, that right there is how we win. Unfortunately, Mr. Vile's a little faster than we are. But we got this. Hooray, we did it, without needing the speed shoes. I've got max lives, and I don't need to do this. I am going to slide off like a slug. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we got all the notes and all the jiggies here. And we hit the witch switch, and we got both honeycomb pieces. Which means we are done here. Time to leave while remaining a little crocodile. This is... Dang it. Need to break that ice before we can do the thing as the little crocodile here. Which is annoying because you can't get to the ice until you have the wading boots. You can't get the wading boots until you go inside Bubble Gloop Swamp, which means you have to go in, learn wading boots, come out, use wading boots, go back in, turn into crocodile, come out, go through hole. Of course, there's a reason that they make it so convoluted. They hid something good back there. Yeah, having Conker's Bad Fur Day be the only Rareware game you play as a kid. Well, A, that game is not for kids. And B, it's not their best work, honestly. It's pretty good, but it's far from perfect. It is farther from perfect than, I would argue, most of their N64 titles. It might be better than DK64. Writing-wise, it's great, but Yeah. Conker's Bad Fur Day is very unique. Wow, what a jerk. One of my favorite lines in Conker's Bad Fur Day comes very early on into the game. When you're first learning to use the game's ubiquitous context-sensitive buttons, which you use throughout the game to do a variety of things. When you're first being told what it is, freaking Birdie the Scarecrow tells you this is a context-sensitive button. That means it's sensitive to context. Yes, Birdie. Thank you very much. And now to go be a little gator again. There's actually surprisingly little backtracking in this game, which I appreciate. Because, I mean, it's good enough once through. But in a collectathon game, when you have to leave and come back to places multiple times in order to get everything, like, if it's, oh, you're going through this level once, but you don't have everything you need to grab everything, you'll have to come back later for another pass. Like, it just never feels good to me. When I'm playing a collectathon, I want to be able to just grab everything as I pass, get everything in one go. And this game, there are exactly 2 worlds where backtracking can be required. They both unlock simultaneously, and each one needs something that you can get in the other world in order to 100% it. And that's the only case of mandatory backtracking through a world. There are a few cases of mandatory backtracking through Grunty's lair, but at least they have warps around to make that less of a pain. So they really handled that right for this game. They don't ask you to do a lot of backtracking, and I appreciate that. But here we are, needing to backtrack into Mumbo's hut in this world. Oh, we got the 1% thing. There's only a 1% chance that he would turn us into a washing machine. I shouldn't have cycled through the dialogue so fast, but oh well. I wasn't looking. I was looking at chat. And when it comes to formative childhood games, for me it was, well, I got Mario 64 with the N64, got GoldenEye with the N64, played both of those a whole heck of a lot. Got Mario Kart 64 because we needed something to be able to play with my cousin, who, while I was not yet a teen, but my parents let me play teen-rated games like GoldenEye, her parents would not let her play teen-rated games because she was too young, which I can respect that. I don't feel like GoldenEye really deserves the whole, oh, you can't play that because you're 1 year older than your cousin, or 1 year younger than your cousin who can. But still, when parents want to go by the ratings on the boxes, I respect that. But yeah, so we needed a multiplayer game that we could play with my cousin, so we got Mario Kart 64 for that. Star Fox 64, I played that a whole lot, mostly because I didn't really have that many options at the time. Banjo-Kazooie was big for me because, hey, it's like Mario 64, but more collecting of stuff. And Zelda Ocarina of Time was a thing. And then Majora's Mask and DK64. Okay, now we've got that Cheeto cheat unlocked to double our maximum blue egg count. And, yeah, what else did I get? I did not get Conker's Bad Fur Day, though I did rent it. Yoshi's Story I got and played a lot, though looking back on it, it's not that great. Banjo-Tooie was a thing. Turok 2. I got that one used for $4.50. An M-rated game. I bought it myself from the store that it was at. It was it was primarily a music store that sold CDs and stuff, but they also had a video games corner. And in said video games corner, they had N64 games, and they would often have used ones. And yeah, I got Turok 2 for $4.50. Jeez, how old was I then? I must have been like 10, maybe 11. And they just let me buy this mature-rated game by myself. And then I liked Turok 2 so much, I bought every Turok game that they sold on the N64. My copy of Turok Rage Wars was the first printing that had the bug that made it impossible to get 100% in. Outlander, on the subject of Diablo, I had a friend who burned me a copy of the CD for Diablo. And my parents didn't care that it was an M-rated game, but when my mother learned the name of the game that I was playing, at the time she was very religious. And learning that the game was named Diablo, she decided that I wasn't allowed to play it anymore. Which is a very silly reason, especially considering that Diablo is the enemy in that game. It does not glorify him, it wants you to kill him. But try explaining these things when you are an elementary school kid to your religious mother. It does not work. Find the Gobi Valley puzzle. So there's actually a trick that we can do here to get a Jiggy early. If I can remember how to do it. Because that sarcophagus over there, there's a witch switch that opens it in Gobi Valley, I believe. But using this shock spring pad, we can actually get up to a point where we can grab the Jiggy through the thing without opening it. Dang it, I was right there. Just gonna give this one more try, because, again, it becomes available later through normal means. Does it not work in the Switch Online version of this game? Played this game a year or two ago via Rare Replay, and I was able to do it on my first try, but I guess no luck here. Oh, time for more notes. Ah, she has rat bagels for breakfast. With slug stew for dinner. Rat again for dessert. I don't know, I feel like she needs to get more variety in her diet than just rat, slugs, and rats. So that right there, we were not supposed to be able to do with just the beak attack there. But it is doable. Well, I guess we'll go into Freeze Easy Peak and learn the move there, and then we'll pop out and find the entrance for Gobi Valley. We don't really need to worry about notes or anything. So, Freeze Easy Peaks music is fine. It's just not my thing. That's why I'm not super into this. The molehill should be right there, okay. So the thing about the beak barge is it is the most dangerous move in this game to use, because if you miss your target and hit a floor or a wall, it hurts. And the more a stage asks you to use it, the more likely you are to get yourself killed by using it. Such a great score. 1. I don't think we need to go through here to get the door for Gobi's Valley open, but we can go through here right now, so we might as well check. Oh, actually, yes. I believe this is exactly where the Gobi Valley picture frame thingy is. Yep, there it is. Interesting that you concede Gobi Valley's door before you can see Freeze Easy Peaks' door, and yet in terms of when you can unlock them, you can unlock Freeze Easy Peak earlier. But such is life sometimes. And I need to use the restroom, so I'll be right back. And I am back. Hope you enjoyed listening to Grunty's Lair theme. I should go get the boots. Like, you can easily get across to that losing only 1 health, but still. Oh, time for more notes. Ah, she was friends with Sweaty Betty. Big Butts and Guts magazine sounds interesting. Cold worm juice. Delightful. Okay. So, since we already learned the beak bomb attack, we can do all of Gobi Valley in one go. So the music here is delightful. The first words Kazooie said to this tree were, "How's your nuts?" What a way to start a conversation. Dang it. If only I was a sand eel. course, the solution to a blocked up nose is to put more things into it. Okay, I guess we just gotta go straight to the other one instead of doing free throw. Gotta sweep the corners. Do that before we get too sidetracked. Just so that I can be sure I remember to. Yes, Outlander, this game does have a lot of giant creatures with minor irritations somewhere on their body. It's startlingly common. And thus, we have no moves left to learn. So once you get to a certain point in the game, the honey boxes, which have 3 honeycombs in them and were just a free source of health, now if you break them open, they still have the 3 honeycombs inside them, but it also makes their bees chase after you if you get close enough. If we had come down here before getting access to the rhyming shoes, he would have taunted us, saying that we were too slow to get Grabba's Jiggy. But we were not too slow. We were fast enough. So, 25 seconds, except the first 5 are spent watching it open. We are nowhere near fast enough to get up there without the running shoes. But we're still going up there without them first. Because if you take the time to grab the music notes on your way in, you will take too long. It's a very tight timer. You gotta really hug the corners if you want to make it in time. Unfortunately, we still have to spend all this time watching it open every time. Dang it. If I had been on this side instead of coming in at this angle, I would have actually made it in. Time to try that again. To watch it open again. Really wish the timer wasn't running during that. Dang it! Also kind of sucks that it closes before the timer actually hits 0. Outlander, I cannot claim to know whether Jiggies are 1,000 years old. Maybe they are. Actually, they probably are, considering there's a temple dedicated to them in the sequel. Urgh. I only need to make it in once, but I need to make it in once. Well, that's not gonna help. There we go. These mummies can only be permanently killed in one way, and that's using gold feathers. Simpler to just walk around them and not spend such a valuable resource. Rude. Need health. I mean, it certainly looks to me like they spend at least long enough displaying my remaining health here. It doesn't seem to be going away. I guess it's just if you're low enough, it displays at all times. Now to play a game of memory. It doesn't actually randomize. Like, the answers to this, I believe, are the same every time you play it. I don't remember them. So we got Mumbo, Egg, Jinjo. Hey. Red Feather. Note. Banjo. Honeycomb. Zooey. Mumbo. Okay, there's a match. Red Feather. Zooey's over here. Note is this one. Banjo was here. And there we go. We have won this game of memory. And it looks like 2 health is the magic number for it staying on screen at all times. Good job, camera. Ah, good old King Sandybutt. How much wrath could King Sandybutt have? So unfortunately, there are actually music notes in this maze, as well as a witch switch. Which means we are going to have to go through it multiple times. For now, we're just focusing on getting through, because unfortunately... Oh, we went past the witch switch. Hey, give me that ancient relic. If you're still in the maze when the timer runs out, it kills you. And we very much do not wish to be killed. Being killed is bad. Especially considering being killed makes it so that we lose all the notes that we've collected. We're almost done collecting notes. Yeah, we have to go in there to get the witch switch, which is actually a skippable witch switch. As I've mentioned before, if I was able to actually do the glitch properly. It's just a dead end for gold feathers, we don't need those. Red feathers. This dead end. More gold feathers. And we're going past the witch switch again because I don't think we've got time to get there and get out. But thankfully, once the timer goes away, we can actually just go right back in. The timer starts again. Also, the fact that wow, they can still harm me. Still harm me multiple times while they're knocked out. And the fact that the music just gets faster and more frantic every single time. Like, they really know how to make you stressed going through this relatively simple maze. Okay, now we've got everything that's in the maze. I just need to not get hit by anything, because if I do, I will die. So I think what I'm going to do, since I am not going to be back in this general area again, is steal this health from the bees. And there we go, we're far enough away. Sure, it cost me some gold feathers to do it safely, but now I've got 4 health instead of 1. That's a win.
Welcome.
Looks like we've gotten everything in the water. Which I believe means everything we have left to collect is either by the entrance or we need to fly for. Wow, we got the how's your nuts again, huh? Do you really need all your water for yourself, Gobi? What if you give it a little? One time too many there. Now we're too low. Gotta really try and get level with that target before we beak bomb it. Oh, that's a timer. We will save that for later. We're dealing with the hidden rings of the ancients first. And in a Banjo-Kazooie game, or basically any N64 game, if it's worth doing once, it's worth doing 3 times. Also, flight controls are pretty much, as a rule, not ideal. Of course, here we need to go through more than 3 hidden rings of the ancients. We'll go back for that in a bit. First, let's visit our pal Gobi. Because we need to take more from him. And we actually did have to do that in order to get a Jiggy later in the game. Yeah, Outlander, this game absolutely was inspired by Mario 64. Of course, this game inspired quite a lot of other games, so... yeah. Makes sense that you would see some of this in Mario Odyssey, because they almost certainly also played this game and took some inspiration from it, because... I mean, yeah, this is one of the most popular collectathons out there. Only stands to reason to reference it some. No! At least there's enough time to get back up there. It looks like our last few notes will be in here. As well as our last jiggy. It's a little high. Thankfully, we've got a way to get up. Hey, it bounced in. His stuff is very tall. Yeah, I can definitely see why you would feel some fear seeing me touch sand flowing down a slope at that angle coming from Mario 64. Thankfully, this sand looks different than that sand. So, yeah, it's not the same sand. This game actually has precious few instant death surfaces, which is nice. Because instant death is not. Anyway, let's just confirm that we got everything here. We hit the witch switch, we got all the jiggies, we got all the honeycombs, all the notes. And we got all the everything in Bubble Gloop, and all the everything in Clanker's Cavern. I didn't get either honeycomb in Treasure Trove Cove. I skip those so often. But that's fine, because we'll be back there. In fact, that's our next destination. That jiggy right there is the one that taught me that you don't have to stay on the shock jump pad in order to actually do the shock jump. So, to Treasure Trove Cove we go for 2 honeycombs, as well as 2 cheat code entries. One of them being officially from within the game itself. The other one, well, from the internet. But it's time. Some easy health. Now, let's see if I even remember where the honeycomb things are. One of them I'm pretty sure is underwater somewhere. Somewhere Snacker can get at us. And the other one, I believe we have to fly to get. Or maybe not underwater, but like an alcove on... Yeah, I remember there being like an alcove on a green bricky thing, so maybe a spot over here that we can't get to safely without flying. This one doesn't seem to have any such alcove, but... I know it's somewhere. Oh yeah, there's one that's like maybe on a box in a corner, floating on water. Oh, underwater, in a corner, near green thing. Several of the components of where this was, I knew. I swear, if it weren't for the music, Snacker wouldn't be nearly as terrifying. Was the other one high up? Wish I had a better camera. Not high up. So it's probably an alcove somewhere. I feel like it's probably over a floating box, though. The question's just where. Not here, though. Can get this Mumbo token. The game has more Mumbo tokens than you can spend, so it's not a huge deal if I don't get them all. But it's still not the worst idea to grab all the ones you see. Well, that honeycomb would be annoying to grab, so I won't. Unfortunately, we can only look straight forward while flying. So if I want to look around, I gotta actually turn. I don't have that many feathers left. Invisible wall. So the sand texture out there extends out farther than the actual playable area does. It's like in a chest. One of these chests, isn't it? I think I remember it being in one of those. Question is which one and where? It's got to be out of the way. I know that. One over there. Is that the one that had the jiggy in it that was flight required? Yeah, I think that's the one. More of these. Maybe they were cheeky and just hid it behind this chest. Nope. No cheek. I mean, the devs of this game were very cheeky in a lot of ways, but not that one particular way. Okay, yeah, that chest over there that we were just at is definitely the one that I'm hearing from here. Yeah, Outlander, go right ahead and give me a hint. Oh, found it. It was above a box. Just a box that's in the middle of the sea and not visible from the places where I was hanging out. Oh, hey, another Mumbo token. It's interesting how it doesn't render when I'm looking straight at it. If I'm looking at an angle, it does. Grab a couple feathers. And we'll hit the sandcastle. Put in our 2 codes. Grab a thing from Gobi's Valley again, and then I will call this a stream. Okay, so first up, blue eggs. And now to head out and back in. And then put in a code that is far too long. Starting with the word cheat. A desert door. Opens wide. Ancient secrets. Wait inside. And now that door is open. We will be making many trips back to Treasure Trove Cove to enter more codes over the course of the run. I'm just not going to be entering codes to open things until after I have seen the things closed, because that way we get to see what the game was like before people learned what the codes were. Not that the codes accomplish anything, because they don't. They, in fact, accomplish nothing. But they exist. There's multiple states for the game to be in. It's just a shame that we can only put those codes in Treasure Trove Cove. No way to put them in from the levels in which the secrets are, except for when that level is Treasure Trove Cove, which it is once. Once we grab the thing behind that door, it'll be time for me to call this a stream. The blue egg. Alright, so that's going to be it for this stream. Let's go ahead and save and quit, which doing so saves, but it also plays the game over sequence, so we get to see the game over scene. And then once that's over, it'll be stream done. So we'll get to see what's on the line if we don't finish our adventure. That voice that they chose for her text is... well, it's something. So yeah, that's what's going to happen if we don't complete our adventure. But that's it for this stream. Thanks, folks, for dropping by to watch and chat and all that. And I will be back with more of this game on Tuesday. See you then, friends.